What's up, everybody? Thank you for tuning into my podcast, Honesty with Comedy. I am your host, SJC. So, today my message or discussion in this episode is titled, What's in My Head? Red flags, real pain, and finding a way back. It all pertains to mental health. I actually was looking forward to making this particular video and talk about mental health because there are so many people that suffer from mental health, but whether you say it or not. I think the scariest ones is that deal with mental health, but sort of in denial. And then they don't really say anything. It's like they're suffering in silence. But someone who truly knows them, you could kind of pinpoint like when something is off. That's if somebody actually is paying attention. It's it's scary because as we know, right, mental health is not something that's visible. It's a invisible but deadly disease. If somebody dealt with a cut, you can see them bleeding. But you dealing with chronic anxiety or depression, schizophrenia, bipolar, whatever the case may be. Nobody can blatantly see that. Some won't even know until it's like too late. So I wanted to at least personalize this video because it is something that I have dealt with. And I wish, sometimes we wish that we could be understood. That somebody could just say, I see you. Well, I see you. I think it also took like my own experience to really awaken, whoa, this is a real issue. Some of us think we like so strong. Yeah, okay, cool. You're strong. You take on this, you superwoman or superman with problems. You're a problem solver. You keep it moving. But sometimes those are main people that literally have a nervous breakdown. Growing up, I was like that person, right? That always wanted to take on everybody else's problems and put it on my back. I just, honestly, it made me feel good. Like I'm able to help. I like helping people. But at the same time, I didn't take into consideration the weight of that burden. It gets heavy to the point that, hell, I couldn't even take care of my own damn business without getting stressed out immediately. You taking on everybody else's problem, then guess what? You just created in you low tolerance, easily fragile, probably even, hell, anger problem, because it starts to create even more symptoms and issues with your life. And you don't even realize this is bad until it's bad. And you look back like, damn, I destroyed everything. We need to pay attention to those red flags, those fluctuating emotions. And when someone is literally saying, I don't want to be here no more, or, you know, I'm sick of this. Life ain't gonna get better. It's just always bad, and so forth. Because everybody got different triggers. Everybody don't have the same triggers either. You can be already traumatized, broken, or damaged just from childhood. Growing up in a household where discussing mental health wasn't the subject or topic of the day. Like, I'm not sure if, like, you know, my mom, her parents, and so forth, in the bloodline, like, how many of those actually suffer from mental health? Because that can play a huge factor in whether or not you at high risk. We always ask the questions about physical conditions. What is your heritage? What your family bloodline got a history of cancer, heart attack or whatever, whatever. Well, what about that brain? How many people have lost their complete mind in my family? But then sometimes it may not, hell, you might be the first one and suffer from mental health. But then if you kind of got through it, you could help somebody else. It's almost, I don't want to say that I'm like glad, because who happy to have to deal with mental health issues? But at the same token, there's others that I can relate to. And that's the reason why I wanted to make this video talking about mental health, because I know in a lot of Black households, unfortunately, I rarely hear that. What to look out for, what it feels like, what to do, to say something. But also, if I say something, would they care? Many people in my family, I never heard them talk about that. So when I started to suffer from mental health and recognized that this was a serious issue going on with me, I couldn't really talk to nobody, not in my household, in my family. I think at the same time, like, I didn't feel like my feelings mattered. I don't feel safe expressing my struggles, my negative thinking. I didn't feel comfortable putting that in somebody else's care because it's too fragile. And it can take one wrong or disregarding comment to set you off. That happened. Taking on so many others' problems and then also trying to deal with my own. I couldn't compartmentalize all of that. And I didn't realize that until I started to feel weird myself. I was tired as hell. I was mentally fatigued. But I do pay attention to my body. So I knew the moment when something felt off mentally. I felt a chemical shift. I felt it. And I said, something wrong with me. And I need to say something before I do something stupid. Right? I was in a relationship with a person that so called knows me, right? Okay. But did you know me enough that you could have saved my life? So I said something outrageous to my partner at that time. And this was after I had all three of my kids. And they was younger then, right? It took that one time. And fortunately, that one time wasn't successful. But I said something stupid that I would normally never say. Never. But it was as a result of how dysfunctional my mind was, or state of mind was at that time. But I think also that was like my yell, like, I'm hurting, help me. But even saying something so abnormal, it was dismissed. Oh, here you go saying stupid stuff. There was nobody else to me. There was nobody else that I thought about reaching out for help. So I locked myself in a room, took some stuff, put the chair under the knob so nobody would be able to get in and find me, not before it was complete. I just remember laying down after all of that, ready. And I don't know how I managed to get up, woozy and all, get down some stairs, and in the kitchen where this partner was. And I guess I passed out. I woke up in the hospital, stomach horrible, taking all that. I suffered that attempt, I can tell you that much. But then I was mad. I was mad when I woke up. Still here. Because I didn't want to deal with what I was dealing with. Because if you up in a state of mind that is that off, your voice is the only one you hear. So you're just going to continue to convince yourself this ain't going to never work. Tomorrow going to be just as bad as today. Life ain't going to ever get better. I don't want to deal with this problem, whatever that is. Like, we make those small things so magnified, and you are the only one trying to reason yourself not to do something. But then, of course, you convince yourself why you should. I don't want to be a burden to other people. Why would I speak up? Why would I say anything? That's just going to make their day worse. Well, if they love you, I'm pretty sure they rather have a temporary burden than a lifelong one of pain, because you're not there no more. I didn't think about that when I attempted the first time. And I love the hell out of my children. I put them first. I do anything for my children. They know that. But that day, I couldn't even hold on. I couldn't even generate a type of emotion that would connect, rationalize, and connect to the pain that would have caused my family had I been successful. I couldn't. That's a scary part, because some people don't get lucky. They don't get to wake up in a hospital. They don't get another chance at life. If we're not paying attention and recognizing when somebody is off, or red flags, because there is many, but you should know a person better or enough. Now, I understand, like, people sometimes just say, right, oh, if this and that happen, I'm going to unalive myself. I'm not going to dismiss that. I don't play when I hear somebody say that. If it's a funny business or you're doing it just to manipulate somebody, because you know sometimes people get in a relationship as well, and then they act a damn fool in a relationship the whole time, and then the minute you like, give me free, all of a sudden they learn that I can't be here no more if you're not here. Well, guess what? When I was here, you wasn't. So I'm not who you need. So I need to leave so you can get you a damn therapist. Or at least try to get them some help. Because it's not normal. It's not normal for somebody to just be blurting that out. I'm going to unalive myself. Even if they is for attention. Different fact. But I was lucky enough to still have another day. So I really wanted to talk and reach out more so to initiate these types of conversations and to hopefully somebody can feel connected to it or relate to it as well. Or even if it's not even you, maybe it's something you heard from somebody else you know. Like, oh man, I need to check on that person. It's usually also the strong people, the quote unquote problem solvers, strong, determined, taking care of everybody type of people that's suffering the most and gets no help because we're not expected to have those type of feelings. Or if we do, shouldn't you be able to fix yourself? But I wouldn't know that. Look, after that, I put myself in therapy. It's shit early on. I didn't want something getting me to that point because I get mad when I start thinking like that. I know I have reached my capacity, my mental capacity. I have reached, and it's not even something that you just turn on and off. You know, no, it's usually a buildup of things, and sometimes hell, it might can be one thing. People got different. What triggers somebody varies. Life, finances, relationship going wrong, or medical conditions. Some people got terminal illnesses and they just don't want to deal with that no more. Some people just cannot deal with life because it is scary and unpredictable. Yes. But I kind of tell myself now, because I ain't going to lie, certain things at certain times in my life, I have, it's come up. Those thoughts come up again. But I think what I learned from the first time was think of, right, something or someone that will give you the willpower to push past this. Because this is a moment. So I think about my kids. This time I visualize it. I sit when those thoughts, and they get strong. Because we should not, for the most part, when people is thinking like that, they isolate themselves. And when you isolate yourselves with that type of state of mind, that's a bad combination because they don't want nobody around. But do you know how easy it is to follow through with a plan like that when nobody else is around to reason with you, give you hope, say, I understand, I validate your emotions, your feelings. Okay, what can we do together? A lot of people don't do that. But like I said, after that first one, I now sit and visualize my children, right? And then it's almost like I can, I see like somebody finding me that way, gone, and having to deliver that to my children, tell my mom. I saw it. And then I felt that heart break so deep. I seen it and I felt it. That is a deep ass wound that I'm choosing to inflict on my family. That pain, oh, that pain, it outweighed my pain. I have to think that. And then I tell myself, wait one more day. Wait one more day. And then that next day, if I'm still feeling, wait one more day. And wait one more day. Grab onto something that you know that will afflict pain deeper, way more harsh on somebody if they lost you or got that notification. I think a lot of our problems as well, we don't realize like it is short duration, but we easily can convince ourselves like, oh no, it's not gonna get better at all. How you know? It definitely ain't gonna have an opportunity to get better if you're not around. Like we all do matter in this world. You don't know your testimony, your story, being a survivor of whatever the case may be, can help the next person get up and be like, this is short. This is just a moment. Am I really gonna make a lifelong, permanent decision based on something temporary? Is it worth it? It's not, I promise you. Because I was able to do good things after that. And had I not been around, or God came back and snatched me there, I wouldn't have had that opportunity. I got to see my kids graduate, smiles on their face, go to prom, be proud. Now one got a whole baby. I wouldn't have been around to witness that. But what you would have had seen is that your family is broken. And I mean heart broken. I know sometimes also it's easy for us, like, well, If they love us, right? Why they didn't help me before I made this decision? Well, did you tell them? Sometimes people don't feel comfortable, you know, putting their emotions in somebody else's care. Like, what would they say? Would they really help? I don't. And I ain't gonna lie. I really have a problem with it. I struggle with that. Because the one time that I did, right, during my first attempt, didn't go well. That person didn't value, didn't respect, didn't comfort me and what I felt. So, yeah, it creates a wall of some sort. But then, hell, I can go and see a stranger. They can show they care more. Somebody. But I feel like we need to have those type of conversations. But even with me going through mental health, right, I'm able to then recognize when somebody else is suffering from it. And when this might get to a point of no return, especially my children. Like those are just things you just don't ignore because it is life dependent. But also, so I wrote some notes that I hope that people can take from it and then assess your own life. Sit back. You might even want to ask some questions. Do it run in your family? Because, like I said, it can be genetic itself. And we better know. I had, I call him my brother and whatnot. He was suffering from mental health. And he was like, he's not here no more as of some months ago this year. I think it was this year or last. One of them, sorry. Time flew. But he started to suffer or at least exhibit mental health, bad mental health symptoms after his younger brother passed. And he moved. So we didn't really have access to him like that. But, his mom and his other biological siblings was around and whatnot. But he tried. He tried to reach out. He tried to, tell somebody that he was struggling, what he was feeling. And unfortunately, that person wasn't able to aid him, wasn't able to have a sense of sympathy, compassion. It wasn't just like cold hearted, like, get away from me, ugh. They didn't have that capacity themselves because that person, parents also suffer from the same problem. So I'm pretty sure he got to that point where he's like, nobody's going to be able to help me. This is not going to get better. And he has a child. Sometimes, yeah, it takes a little bit more than even visualizing the people that you're going to leave behind and hurt. Because when you compare the pain, they don't want that suffering. They've been suffering. And it just got to a point they just tired. But had someone assisted and really not even just say, I understand what you're feeling. Yeah, you can validate somebody's feelings, but what has brought you? What triggered this? Okay, is this something that we can do together to lessen the severity of how you are thinking and processing whatever triggered you, because the problem always going to be magnified in that state of mind. So it's not too hard for a person to kind of just get to a literal dead end road. Say, I don't want to deal with this no more. Don't want to wake up to even worry if I'm going to get through this another day. Sometimes medication could work something down, depending on that. I ain't going to lie. Because there is different ways to dealing with mental health too. Sometimes you do need medication. You definitely need to seek professional help depending on your symptoms and what type of diagnosis you have. But it's more than that as well. I come to realize mine wasn't so much of a chemical imbalancing overall. Because then, had I been medicated or something, maybe it would have helped level out, my what is it, psychotic levels. Sometimes you need medication to get you in a calmer state, so then you can learn coping techniques and skills, but you have to have a more calmer, even level of thinking, or the way processing, however the case may be. I ain't no professional, chat. Disclosure, I'm not a doctor. I'm just a person who experienced it. But I realized I was taking medication. I didn't like it. It made me feel weirder than I was before the medication. But then I come to realize mine was more so situational. Like there's different categories of mental health as well, and where you can place that. Some need medication. Like if you bipolar, ain't no damn situational. That's a chemical imbalance. You schizo, that's a chemical imbalance, boo boo. You're gonna need that medication. Then we can work on organizing your life or whatever. But go get that medicine. But mine wasn't. I come to realize it's situational, meaning the set of circumstances that I was dealing with, taking on other people's problems, and then trying to fix and normalize my own problems, or obligations or whatever is stressing me out. So that had I caught that early on, like, hold on, I'm starting to get overwhelmed. I'm starting to think, when you tired and you just so busy trying to problem solve everybody else's stuff, and then you get to a point that you can't. Maybe this person problems I can't solve. I can't. So then now I'm stressing because I can't solve somebody else's problems. And then now I got my own. And I don't even want to deal with that. There's environmental. So in my other video, when I was talking about environmental shaping, right? That's another form or category where you can have fluctuating mental health, moods, symptoms, or whatever. But it's environmental. Like childhood trauma. There ain't no damn pill for that. Mm-mm. Just good old therapy. Okay? Growing up, you take some of that leftover, residual set of emotions, trauma, baggage, and you still have it on you, and it is just causing a whole mass destruction of your life, you might want to seek some help with that one. And usually, medication, it doesn't what is it going to really do? You know, it's more so you learning how to cope, how to vent, how to speak out. Like I tell my kids, okay, if you got a feeling, I need you to put a name on that. What is this feeling? You feel sad? Say sad. You know, anxious? Say anxious. I need you to name what it is that you're feeling or exhibiting. So then I'm able to at least understand, you know, and how I can approach their situation. But it's important to have those conversations. Like I said, I didn't grow up talking about mental health. And mostly black households, who really do? We definitely need to do better in that aspect of life. Because we go through things too. It shouldn't be go take a nap or, oh, forget that. Don't worry about that. Well, that might be easy for you to say. But for me, I'm worried. Okay? So it's important to have those conversations, introduce those conversations, and to also recognize when somebody else around you seems like they're unraveling and losing their mind. But let me see. I think, like I said, now I find usually when those thoughts start to generate or come about, I try to sit back and think like, what was I doing? What is causing this? And it can just, hell, they said, well, money, people, hell, they lose it. People, they get to that point, they won't deal with this life no more because they broke. Money ain't the easiest thing to come across. And hell, it ain't free. It ain't free to live in this world. It's expensive. I don't even give a damn if you live with somebody else. You still need some coins. And then you got some people working, but still don't make enough. And when you working just to pay damn bills all the time, and you can't really even do something that's gonna be like an outlet, you know, make working, going back to work enjoyable because I'll be able to afford this vacation or, you know, get my kids some Christmas gifts or whatever the case may be. You just feel like you just working like a Hebrew slave child, and there ain't nothing else you gonna do but be depressed. People say, "Oh well, cause money buy you happiness." Nope. I always say, "No, that ain't the point." But that money can help me pay all these damn bills, and if all these bills paid, I'm at peace, and peace makes me happy, which it does. Who don't want no peace? Okay, it should be free, but anyway, sorry. But I just wanted to bring up some issues. And I wrote some notes. So excuse me if I'm looking down a little bit. But I definitely wanted to bring up and have this conversation. And then so people can take it serious. Like there's so many people out here in the world who actually can relate to you and understand and cater or be compassionate, have some sense of understanding and just support. You'd be surprised what even just having a listening ear can provide for somebody. They don't speak because they want to feel judged, you know, or like they should be stronger or you shouldn't feel that way. Well, you can't say that because if they feel that way, then that's just what they feel. But you can say, I understand. That would be hard. That would be overwhelming as well. Okay, what can we do? Try to lessen and dissect whatever it is that they're literally magnifying. But dismissing it and putting it under the rug definitely ain't gonna help at all. I can tell you that much. At all. So um I recommend therapy now, like I said. Maybe a lot of people don't say that, but I definitely will recommend therapy. Go on and talk to somebody. But mental health also, it's just not about a diagnosis, right? It's about the stuff we carry, the stuff that you don't see, nobody else sees. It's the thoughts in your mind that on constant repeat. It is like so hard to calm yourself down. Those racing thoughts, oh, oh, I know. You just like, you can't even, you wish you can turn it off like a light switch. But no, racing thoughts are horrible. It is so hard to rationalize anything when your mind just at a full, like the road runner. You know that bird on Acme. Yeah, I've had those. And sometimes they even increase at night. But then also certain things can be triggering. If you grew up in a household where it's like violence, you easily triggered. You have trauma. But also, if you never say anything, how do you give someone the opportunity to help you? I really do push more so for people, like say something, but I also challenge a lot of other people to pay attention to your friends. If you really, really love them, families too, you really love them, then you should be able to know that something is off. Hell, I pay attention to everybody. I think it makes me more sensitive to someone struggling because you can talk somebody off the edge easily. A lot of people don't even want to deal with it. Oh, you're talking about, oh, you're sad today. Oh, you'll be okay. Well, I ain't sad because I missed the bus. Not that. It's okay to ask why you sad. Like, what happened? Like, just don't stop shooing them off. Because you get to a point where a person literally, it took one person to minimize, disregard, and dispose, like, bye. And then they gone. And then what you saying? Oh, I woulda, coulda, shoulda. Well, you didn't. And that you did not, could have saved somebody. It's not hard. People feel it's an inconvenience to them. Oh, really? Well, we was all cool and dandy though when we was getting, when I was all fun and this, that, and the third. But then now, a sister going through some, you ain't got the time of day. That is so hurtful. It's hurtful. So I'm just saying, pay attention to the people that's around you. Beware of red flags. And I say red flags because everybody's red flags are not the same either. It all depends on the person. But you should know that person well enough to recognize when something is off. Like, your energy is a little, what's up with that? And that even goes a long way, I promise you. If somebody literally just calls and say, hey, I want to just check up on you, you know, haven't heard from you in a while or whatever. Or if they even see you, like you all right? That even can go a long way. When somebody dealing with mental health, it's a thin rope. I can tell you that much. A thin rope with reality and, you know, fiction. We take these smallest things and then they just become the most biggest problem in your history. So let's not do that. Let's actually have these conversations with people, recognize it, see if they're withdrawing, if they're isolated. You normally can call them, they answer the phone, but then now they ain't answering the phone. Hell, you better drive by. If they tone a little bit different, if they saying things that normally they don't say, check on them. Hell, ask them, where your man at? Take them outside for a walk. Sometimes fresh air can help. Damn darkness here. I be sitting up here with all the windows closed, the shades closed, and wondering why my damn brain cells going haywire. We ain't got no damn sun up in there. That might help too, you know? But still. But for the most part, honestly, people, they don't just throw around and just decide, oh, today, I don't want to be here today. Just woke up out of nowhere today. Yesterday was fine. But today, I just decided I don't want to be here. No. Because that's not something that's normal. That's not something that people just throw out anywhere. Sad, mad, frustrated, sure. But I don't want to be here. I would be better off not here. Well, no. You might end your pain, but then you just started pain with all the people who loved you. At least give somebody the opportunity to save your life. At least give them that. Tell them where your mind at. Give them that opportunity and see. Because once you gone, you can't come back from that. You can't. We do we do also have to work on not allowing things to build up. Problem after problem after problem. One thing doesn't change the complete duration or dictate every day after that. Because you can make a decision one day and then a different decision the next day. Because if you decide one day, I'm better off not being here, and then you take the steps, and then it's successful, how would you know? Give it one more day and then another one more day. Stop thinking 2 days. Stop thinking a week. This ain't gonna help. This ain't gonna be solved. Stop. Because honestly, we do live day by day. Some people can plan weeks in advance of this and that and the third, but when you're struggling mentally, it's hard to think that far. And then if you are thinking that far, you're thinking that your problem is still going to be there a week from now. So you're like, nope, I already know. I already know what next week is going to be like. I think also, I get mad. I get mad at myself to be, I'll cry. I'll cry, snot running down my nose and everything, right? Because I'm thinking that way. But then, like I said, I have to then hold on. Okay, who would this affect? Like I said, I would think about my children. Oh my God, that pain is ridiculous. That broke my heart horribly. That it shrunk my desire to want to end whatever I was going through. That. But also, I'm like, I'm sitting here. I've never been a person that give up on stuff, especially the things that I fight for, like my life. I fight for the simplest damn things in my life. It would be easy if I justified. Well, everything in my life I've always had to fight for. I've always had to go an extra mile for compared to the person next to me. If I do it, right, and then this person do it, they're going to just be able to go straight with no problems. But me, here go another obstacle. A rocket fell, a car ran me over, a curb head cracked. Obstacle after obstacle, right? It's like you just get tired. Like, what? For what? I'm always going to be tense, on edge, knowing. But then that also gave me the endurance to say, okay, and if a problem did occur, guess what? I can handle it because I handled it before. And then this other person, right, that they had this old smooth sailing life, no obstacles, yada yada. They had one. All hell broke loose. The types who actually been through some things. You get knocked down, guess what? You know how to get back up because you did it every time. And then you learn something. But we cannot always think, okay, bad things. The bad things outweigh the good because then that also will convince you, I don't want to deal with this no more. That negative thinking. But it's also easier said than done because when your chemicals are off and whether it's environmental, situational, whatever mental health you dealing with at that time, that problem is going to be bigger, way bigger. That noise is loud. I come to realize as well, and I'm gonna talk about this in another episode. Spiritual. I'm not a spiritual guru. Mm-mm. I had just recently started going down that road, honestly, but I have learned quite a bit. And this is a spiritual world, spiritually influenced. And I don't think a lot of us actually take that into consideration as well. When we are exhibiting an increase of negative thoughts and hell, all of a sudden you start dwelling on something stupid that you might not even thought about, or a person that pissed you off years ago, or a childhood trauma that you didn't think about, in a while, but all of a sudden, boom, it just came up to the forefront of your forehead. You best to believe it's spiritual. Tell you something, that devil is sneaky. I don't know. A lot of people, if people who are spiritual, then they can understand. Like, no, that's true. I have experienced that. I was slightly, I was more ignorant from a spiritual standpoint previously until the last, I would say, 2 or 3 years. And I have dealt with some spiritual hell. But I also pay attention. Also, take notes. But people who are spiritual, they will honestly co-sign. Like, no, it could be. But regardless of what it is, spiritual or versus past history of it, family history of it, situation or whatever, it's still something that needs to be dealt with and tackled before it's too late. I highly recommend getting a third party for sure, so they can at least allow you to vent whatever is in you. That's why I enjoyed therapy. I didn't need the medication. I knew I had somebody that I could go and talk to at least, hell, twice a month if I wanted to, once a month. But it was going to help me decompress whatever it is that I was dealing with, and then help me rationalize what to do. Okay, this is not that bad. Okay, yeah, this too shall pass. But then you also need to find a safe space. There's support groups out there. There's a lot of people who can relate to how you're feeling. Talk to a pastor, but more so, I would say find something or someone that's more tailored. I really honestly appreciate support people who actually have been through it. Like my therapist, hell, he wasn't he wasn't shy from telling me he was going through marital problems too. He's dealt with depression, anxiety. It made it more relatable. I felt safe. Like, yeah, somebody understands. Instead of just looking at a damn, what's it, DSM book or whatever it is. That medical diagnosis book. Yeah, that. Okay, you book smart, but is you the actual condition smart? We write me no damn prescription all the time thinking because I'm yarning 3 times in the last 60 seconds. I need to be on Adderall. You better know what the hell you talking about if you're gonna tell me what to do. But like I said, people don't just wake up saying stuff like that. Just be sensitive to those type of subject matters and situations and help them. Okay. So I already told about my own personal struggle. Also, it'll be a separate conversation, but I found myself, if when you're dealing with mental health trauma, right? Untreated or whatever, for the most part, that can also cause you to develop other external issues, meaning my mental health problems caused me also to become a drug addict. Yeah, they talking about that, that uh, say we that green is a gateway. So is depression and post traumatic stress disorder. Like I've seen, I got family, past history of, people who on that stuff addicted. I never thought that would happen to me ever. Oh, I was too strong. I already see what that do. Ain't doing it to me. Nope, not me. Right? Shh. Mm-mm. I end up getting a prescription. Child. Let's just say that physical pain was no longer pain. But what it did help me cope with was the mental anxiety, social anxiety, depression. I was numb, but I didn't have a clue. Not a clue. I just knew it helped me feel better for that day or that hour. Then it got worse and worse and worse. Mm-mm. And all hell broke loose. That just made it way worse. So mental health, and then all of a sudden you start to develop like this addictive personality disorder where you just kind of get addicted to any damn thing. I don't give a damn. You could get addicted to licking a water fountain. But it's like people that know. It like increased that good dopamine, whatever the case may be. But it's solely really based on you just covering up. It's your own way of coping because you don't want to have to deal with your real pain and suffering from a mental or psychological standpoint. It's not doing anything but just numbing that, putting a band aid over it. But trust and believe, now you got two problems when you just had one. And when those two come together, let's just say it is not the best marital relationship. They toxic. You're not gonna get far. It just literally takes you downhill until you hit rock bottom. So not only I gotta deal with these mental health issues, oh now I'm a junkie. Mm. And that was worse. That really turned me into somebody that I just wasn't. I wasn't even thinking about my own mental health at that time because it was covered up. Now I just thought about I need to keep supplying myself with what numbed all that because I didn't even want to deal with it no more. Oh, child, it was hell to pay. But I only say that because it it can't, and I don't think a lot of us actually think of those two as a couple. But one definitely can cause another problem, and then another problem, and then another problem, and you just don't need to be all of them problems at the same time because you do have to probably pay a copay when you go to therapy and deal with that. Sure, they had a few. It took me 20 years to get these problems out, and I'm still working towards them though. But I'm not ashamed. Seriously, I'm not ashamed. I've always been like an open book, right? I was usually very sensitive to others' emotions. You can feel when something is just off. But we also have to check our own self. We always get in a mode of trying to be super woman or super bad to everybody else, but then it's like, okay, you need to do a self awareness check. Where's my mind at? Because getting up, being all depressed and whatnot, mm-mm, it ain't the state of mind that you want to be. Because I can tell you, you ain't gonna get too far. But I just wanted everybody to say, take the opportunity to have these type of discussion, and if you have like a testimony, you have been through some things, you have survived it, and maybe you still going through it, but it's to a point where you can at least recognize it. Like, speak up even about that. Because when I'm confused about something, or I maybe need somebody that can relate to me and what it is, I try to go find testimonial videos as well. Because I don't have a lot of people that directly I can speak to, like face to face, that has experienced exactly what it is that I'm going through. Then, yeah, I've it gives me some sense of comfort. Like, oh, okay, this I'm not just new, the only person who's been through something this bizarre. There's other people too, so this is normal. And then what did they do? What did they do to get help? But okay, I just don't want nobody to feel ashamed. And a lot of people, it's sad when someone says that, oh yeah, you just want sympathy. Oh, you just want somebody to throw you a pity party. Really? Mm-mm. I think that's stupid. Why would you minimize and disregard somebody's feelings like that? Like, if you don't have the capacity to be supportive and loving, helpful, then take your ass somewhere else. Okay? Because you do got a lot of people that don't. They never experienced something, so they can't understand. But that's okay. I don't need to cuss you out because you can't understand. I just need to pick up my problem and take it somewhere else. That's it, okay? Okay, but I'm trying to think, make sure I'm not missing anything. But yes, always keep in mind your own. Because I feel like the best person to take inventory of how you're feeling and what you're going through is you. Do not allow yourself to be in denial. But we need to stop suppressing as well. A lot of us have a bad habit of suppressing something that is triggering to you, or something that you're sensitive about, or whatever the case may be. Like, oh, no, I don't want to even think about that. I'm just going to push it down and keep it moving. Do not, because that is going to grow legs, I promise you. And it's going to be another thing that's going to stir that right up. And then that is going to take you over the deep end, because you thought it was this small. You thought you had enough room to tuck it in there, down there somewhere in the gut, the ankle, or wherever you're going to put it. And then you come to realize suppressing it does not remove it. Nope. It doesn't remove it. It's still there. I, I think for the most part, the reason why people, I don't know. If you ask somebody like, how comfortable are you talking about your emotion? You know, men sometimes they be trying to act all hard and stuff like, I'm good, I'm good, I'm good. You human. You human. And I know a lot of men who they don't like talking about their damn feelings at all. You know, because they think that they supposed to be all macho Randy Savage or something. You go through the same damn things we do too. One thing might not affect you just as much, but it is okay to feel however you feel. Just don't be, just don't be that. Don't be the person that just needs to act as if nothing bothers you. Or just put it to the side. Put it, please don't. Mm-mm. Life is hard. That's number one. And then the way your mind working or not working, oh, it is going to absolutely play a factor in how you navigate life. You either can navigate it from an even plane that, or you gonna always believe that everything is always hard. Everything or problem is always bigger. When sometimes it isn't. It's just the way we're programmed sometimes, especially when it's trauma based. I think we also need to sit back and assess, why am I easily triggered by certain things? And then, hell, has the things I have endured or experienced in my past or upbringing makes what I'm dealing with way harder. But don't allow no one to negate or minimize your feelings. You're entitled to that. But yeah, it's just better sometimes. Like, I like to say it, and then somebody can break it down. Okay, yeah, is this really a problem that needs to be this magnified? Or is it just trauma based, the reason why it is this big? But I think more so we gotta find balance. An outlet may help too. Something good. Try to, if I wanna sit here, right, and put this much energy into reasons why I shouldn't be here, I'm sitting here planning not being here. Okay? Well, then I need to plan on living. I'm going to put even more time and plan on living and not just sit there planning on not living. Because it breaks my heart when I hear somebody, you know, get to that point. I don't care if I'm related to them or not. It's just something got them to a breaking point, and they could not find something to hold on to. And then a lot of people say, well, doing something like that is selfish. Because, oh, well, it's so selfish because you're not considering nobody else's feelings and what the family would have to go through and endure. Why would they do that? Well, hell, they ain't here. They thought about their problem. They thought about how tired they dealing with their problem or whatever it is. It's not selfish. It's just that pain, that suffering. People need to stop that. When you're going through something, you don't know how intense that suffering is. You may think this person did this all because they didn't get their way or all because your bill was past due. Usually it's bigger than that. They feel like a failure. They don't want to ask nobody for help. Maybe they're not used to that, right? Especially the people that's more so of a giver and not a receiver. It's uncomfortable receiving help. We get all prideful and everything. Like, I don't need to have nobody. I don't want to because yep, I'm one of those. I love giving, but yeah, receiving help. But it is that. It's usually, it's something more. It's deeper. But I feel like that's the reason why we need to catch it. We need to get ahead of people like that and have these conversations and not be scared to do so. And stop making it seem like it's an inconvenience to you in your life. Because if that person did succeed, then what? I could have helped them. I would have helped them. I should have did more. Well, that's part of the reason why they didn't come to you. Because they knew you wasn't going to do more. It's sad. But yeah. So I really just wanted to talk about that. I did put some life stressors that can be triggers, financial issues. We talked about that, relationship conflict, legal problems. Oh, child. Mm-hmm. Yeah, people do. You get that legal problem, child. You ain't taking me to jail, child. But unless if you get me out in the next week or two, then we could go ahead and talk about that. But if you didn't, no, thank you. But like I said, I highly recommend therapy because it does help you. It helps you get, because we have levels to what we can take. My tolerance can be different from somebody else. You know what I'm saying? So it's not about comparison or less than or more than this and that. No, it's an individual based capacity, point blank, period. So therapy helps de- decrease, let it out, get it out or whatever. So then guess what? I'm good for the next week. See you in a week, doc. I let it out. So then now I'm reset. But it's also a third party, you know what I'm saying? Like assessment. They don't have no dog in this fight. They're not trying to defend themselves. They're going to hold you accountable, but also they're going to support you and help you learn how to look at things differently, how to cope differently, which can increase your mental capacity. So the very same things won't always be so big and overwhelming to you, right? It helped me. I highly recommend it. I love it. Hell, I probably need to make it. Well, it all depends as well. But anyway, but try to always think, like I said, hold on to what you love dearly, and if that matter, it should, because some problems can be resolved even with just a conversation, or even somebody knowing that you just need help. Do not make decisions based on pride and ego. You will lose. If you're too proud to ask for help or express yourself, that's gonna be a problem. Cause then you only listening to you. Ego based, wondering if somebody gonna look at you different. Good, you should. Look at me different today. Yep. Because I am different. You gonna help me or no? Red flags based on whom this, you know, person is. Try to get them to put a name to whatever feelings that they are having. Some people are really tough too, Chad. They will not, you good? Yeah, I'm good. Ain't nothing wrong. Mm-hmm. You start talking about families and relationship, and all of a sudden they got a tear in their eye. Yeah, you ain't hit a soft spot, clearly. But I just wanted to have that discussion. Sometimes I kind of can go here, there, and everywhere and whatnot. And I try to bring a little laughter and sense of humor to certain topics. But this one, not as much. Because what I say is definitely near dear. I have experience, I still do. And I do feel like it's a serious matter that we all need to confront, address, and support each other. Because I just don't want to be a person that just would have missing you because I could have helped you, or I refused to help you, or was inconvenient to you. Always take serious somebody's um, expression of emotions, right? Always. Don't minimize it. Reach out, talk to somebody, even if it feels uncomfortable, because it is true. Our life do have value. There's 1,000 people more likely that loves you more than you actually think. They just don't know what's wrong with you. So, and be open. Okay. So, that was pretty much it as far as my mental health message goes. I hope people can take serious mental health. I hope this raises conversations in households, in relationships, or even with your children. I'm gonna make a separate one, a part two. So this one was more so mental health and then like adults and stuff. But I'm gonna make a part two. Um, get some little research as well on child or adolescent mental health and what that looks like, and some helpful suggestions or tips that I have utilized on my own children. Um, I'm not gonna really talk about something that I haven't experienced myself because I want it to be authentic, and for people to trust and believe that what I am talking about, I've experienced, that I have hands on knowledge of, not just saying it. Okay. So, I think that is it, guys. But I hope y'all stay well, stay healthy, do some fun, but more so be open to talk with your family and stuff about mental health. If this video isn't for you and you know somebody who has exhibited some changes or mental health problems and this could be helpful to them, then refer them to the video and please leave any comments. If you have any suggestions, even for myself, feedback, or if you have any questions directly, you can leave it in the comments and then I will respond to those. Or also, if it's like an important topic that maybe I didn't even discuss today, then yeah, please tell me. I love learning new stuff. Um, and I'm very open, trust and believe. But yes, leave it in there, and then I will definitely get back, and that'll be a new topic of discussion. So I hope you enjoyed this video episode, Honesty with Comedy. I am your host, SJC. God bless everybody. Peace out. See you on part two for ciao. Bye.